After all water has hydrogen, right? So we've got 2 hydrogen molecules, we've got 1 oxygen molecule, and we've got billions basically of those molecules in each drop of water. So what we're looking at is how can we get more hydrogen into water, and will that bring more benefits? That was basically kind of the hypothesis or the theory, the research going into it was, is more hydrogen in the water better? Because there's a lot of companies with hydrogen water basically popping up. So I said, all right, let's look at this. And I had colleagues that were recommending it that were, they're very smart people. And I said, well, if they're recommending it, they've probably done the research. Let me look into it for myself, though. I like to be someone that stays skeptical, that keeps an open mind, but definitely skeptical. The research has to be there, and obviously the efficacy in real life. I don't want to just look at PubMed and says, oh, this works on 16 mice in this particular study. Okay, fine. Okay, it worked in that study on these 16 mice in a very controlled environment. Is it working in the real world? And anecdotally, I saw a lot of people getting benefit in the real world. So I said, okay, let's look at this research. It led to probably 2 years of research or so. Me looking at the scientific studies, probably about 80 hours, 100 hours. I would say on average, a couple hours one week, none the next, probably an hour or so a week over the last, let's say 52 weeks in a year, right? 2 years. By now, the science that I've seen is rock solid. I feel very comfortable now recommending a hydrogen-based water, and I'll get into that and how I test for it myself. So very specifically, what is hydrogen water? Well, all water is hydrogen, but when a water has more hydrogen, it can create more of what's called a negative ORP. It's called oxidation reduction potential. Inside of High Performance Health, we talk about this. We call it redox potential. And it essentially means inside of our bodies, especially as we're getting older or diseased, right, out of balance, we begin to build up more free radicals, inflammation. And that inflammation, of course, makes the disease state worse. So we have all these free radicals that are essentially missing an electron. They're missing negative ions. They need negative ions, those electrons, in order to become whole and no longer a free radical, creating inflammation and cellular destruction inside of your body. Okay, well, it happens that when you have higher hydrogen-based waters called molecular hydrogen, that we don't really need to get into the specific terminology, but molecular hydrogen water, you might hear it said that way. When that increases, meaning hydrogen goes up in the water, believe it or not, something called ORP goes down, and I want to explain that. ORP is oxidation reduction potential. So